There you go. 2025 has finally come to an end for Man United under Reuben Amorim. And I tell you what, this has been our worst ever year in the Premier League, without a doubt. 13 wins, 11 draws, 14 losses. Let that sink in for a minute. Let that actually sink in for a minute. And to sign off 2025, our manager tries to stifle Wolves because he thought they would play a back five and play a back five ourselves, or back three, whatever you want to call it, and change things around because Wolves are coming to town. It's an abomination to what Man United stands for. It really is. The more I thought about it over the night, you know, sometimes you can sleep on it and get more calm and go, you know what, we go on to the next one. No, I'm still stuck in last night. I'm still stuck there. Now it's even been revealed that, oh, I took Zirkzee off for tactical reasons to gain control with Jack Fletcher, who's scared. He didn't want to pass forward. Young kid, throwing him into that sort of position. Also, everyone was also saying, play the kids, play them. Look at how did that work out? Total mess. And another stark reminder. Get excited against Newcastle. We praise the performance. We praise certain individuals. You praise a little bit of decent run of good form. But when you take a step back or take a step up to look at this thing and the overview and the aerial view of what's going on, a whole load of nothing. A whole load of nothing. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Smash a like, man. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. I'm still angry from yesterday. I have not seen this as a calming down exercise. I've not seen this as a, well, I know we're inconsistent. Like, we'll probably go and beat Leeds. And no, we won't. No, we won't. Like, you look at us and what this team is and where it's at, and it's just disgusting. It's just now we've got a manager who thinks he's Claudio Ranieri, the Tinkerman, who's just going to change all the time for no reason. What have we come to? What is this? What is this? I don't want to swear this early. I don't.
Yes, I mean, and that's the interesting thing, isn't it, Flex? You say that no, we won't when it comes to the Leeds game. We actually might. I don't know which one's more frustrating.
No, we won't.
I don't know which one's more frustrating. To be honest, well, it's going to answer because let's face it, you beat Leeds at the weekend. Would you be shocked by that? No. You
probably.
You lose against Leeds at the weekend. Would you be shocked by that? No. You draw against Leeds at the weekend. Would you be shocked by that? No. Not shocked by anything. Nothing's off the table. As the title says, last night was an embarrassment. It should be when you draw against a team that hasn't won all season, you draw against them at home. That should be like the lowest point of your season. You go, I tell you what, it can't get lower than that. The mad thing is, Flex, we've had lower moments this season. That's not even the lowest. It should be the lowest. What does that say? What does that say about us? That you go, the fact that we can compare it and we can go, yeah, it's not as bad as Grimsby, or is it as bad as the Everton one? There shouldn't be multiple to choose from, but that's where we are. Well, there's a reason why we go into every single game, regardless of the opponent, and we go, what do you think is going to happen today? And everyone goes, I have no idea. Zero.
Nope.
No idea. And legitimately, every option is on the table. As we've said throughout this goes to Christmas buffet. Every option. What do you want? Draw, loss, win. Look at our recent form. Even against the worst in the league, against the best in the league, every option's on the table. And nothing's changed. And obviously, there's been a lot of talk, hasn't there, about, Reuben's stats in 2025. And, I look at it like a lot for some people. Last night was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I go, why? why last night?
I actually think, yeah, some people, that's true. A lot of people.
Because, when we got super chats last night and it was like, wow, this is it. I'm Reuben out. And you go,
now I'm done.
Yeah,
why? Well, everyone's
got a year.
Because everyone's got like a new breaking point of like the low that they won't accept for whatever reason why they set that target, right? And the truth is that everyone gets off the train at different points, yeah. And the truth is you're right. This is like this. Basically, it gets masked. It gets masked over like you look at the league. So I saw Rob Dawson Rob Dawson put, Man United should have beat Wolves at home, no doubt. But after 19 games, they're sixth. Finish there, and they'll be back into Europe, and it'll be a relatively good season. There were always going to be ups and downs after lopsided recruitment in the summer. And he's taken the measured sort of factual, well, like, the thing we normally say, well, consider it. I mean, we're on track to where I thought we'd be, so I can't really moan that much. I thought we'd be around sixth, and we are. But that's where you have to look at, like, say, the performances, what the manager's doing, how the team's getting on. Reuben's saying, don't worry, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine as soon as the players get back. That's what he said. We're going to be fine as soon as the players get back. We've just seen the players before we just left. It's the same level of inconsistency. We had them players against Everton. We had them players against West Ham. We had them players against fucking Bournemouth. We had them against Brentford. We had them against City. We had them against Spurs. Well, not all of them this year, if you get what I mean. But if we just stick to this season, we had these players against Grimsby. Mm-hmm. So that nonchalance of like, I know we're going to be fine when they get back. Because then he says, I'm not going to basically use this as an excuse, like the absentees as an excuse. But proceeds to basically say, no, we'll be like when they get back to get through this moment.
Good, because that's why we said that last night, didn't we? That, irrespective of who you have or don't have available, it doesn't matter because you've seen the same. Some people asked me recently, they said, why'd you say it's the same every single week? And go, well, it's not literally the same in the sense of you get the same result every single week, but the level of performance is the same most weeks, regardless of who's available and isn't available. And as I've said, it's just a case of today, is it going to be enough to beat this team, whatever team we're playing? Are we going to have a little bit of luck? Are we going to have a little bit of brilliance? What's it going to be? Because really, that barometer of a good performance to bad performance, it's not that big with Man United. It isn't. Under Reuben Amorim, and it's been largely the same. Ultimately, and this is where I'm at, I'm really emotionally detached from this team and obviously the coach at this point as well. But I've been like it for a long time in the sense that, Ineos will still probably look at the table and like Rob Dawson said there, they'll go, sixth. Let's see how the season goes. Let's see where we end up at the end of the season. Then we'll make a decision. If Reuben gets into Europe, whatever Europe is, then they'll probably keep him as is because they've held so many hours on and off the pitch, in terms of recruitment, in terms of the Ten Hag scenario, how they handled that or whatever. They're desperate for this to work out. Even if you are drawing to like the worst Premier League team in history, their hope as well. Let's just hope it works out and see what happens. So this feeling that we've got during the game, after the game, I think eventually it does manifest in like emotional detachment because you have to you do have to kind of check out for your own sanity, don't you? And just go, I can't keep doing this every single week because usually, what do they say? The definition of doing something over and over again, that's insanity. Doing the same as saying over and over again, expecting different results. Well, basically, we have to, as fans, we have to every single match week go, I got to watch the same thing over and over again and hope and expect it's going to be different this week, even though I know it's probably not. And then what am I going to get angry and outraged that it's not different every single week when I know it's not going to be different every single week? So eventually you just have to go, right, I'm done. And then just the season just goes.
Well, yeah, you have to watch it. Well, what we have to do is watch it every week because, like you said many times, like Reuben's not going anywhere. Don't get me wrong. Listen, I get what you're saying in terms of basically you're logically thinking about it of saying, well, he's not going to get sacked and we're not good. So that equals this will keep happening. So why am I going to keep getting angry to the nth degree every single time it happens? Like that's draining for me. But I see
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying selfishly on my own part, for my own self-preservation, mentally, I'm going, I can't keep doing this every single game because I will drive myself insane. And there's nothing I can do about it. There's zero I can do about it. But that's just me. And I totally do understand that other people will be like, no, this is fucking shit.
Yeah, fuck this. And listen, I don't care if people want to call me emotional flip for whatever. I've stayed in the same bit since that Grimsby bit. Because of this, I've said, still not sold, still ain't turned the corner. I'm not buying into, get your fucking apology video out. You lot can piss off. Like, you know what I'm saying? That, and it just goes back to from then to now. Grimsby was in August. September.
That's why.
Wasn't it?
That's why I
You
said it.
know,
I remember saying it in the aftermath, even the Liverpool game. You know, you need to apologize. You go, for what?
yeah.
I
For
mean,
what?
come on, guys. It's a few games. In the same way, let the season play out, because this is why you can't go too hard either way, because win a couple of games and it's all right, you need to apologize. Now, the same people that are saying to apologize a couple of months ago, they now saying that you need to apologize again, or maybe retract that apology. No, because it's bullshit. Because that was that whole thing was bullshit. The irony of like the word gaslighting gets thrown around so much, doesn't it? But actually, at that time, that was gaslighting. You know, Flex, you thought wrong, or how dare you? You need to apologize for winning it because he's won a couple of games. You go, well, nothing's actually happened yet. Nothing's actually happened.
Nothing.
No.
There's nothing to suggest like, oh, see, it's because our standards, right, are so low, and they've been driven this low by this manager. He's made us okay with suffering. He's made us okay with these types of terms of like good times are coming. You know, yes, I know you need patience in football, but the way we've been conditioned, if you let it happen, is like to be okay with this. It's part of what has to happen. It isn't. It isn't. That's my pushback.
For a rebuild, mate.
Yeah, you don't have the stomach for a rebuild. You're not patient enough. You're impatient
all the time.
You don't need to. You don't need to be not beaten. Bottom of the table, foot of the table. Got 2 points all year. 2 points all year, and then the explanation of how we arrived at this game with these tactics is to have Wolves in mind. We thought they'd play with the back five, so we wanted to match them. What the fuck are you talking about? How can you go, and this is what I'm talking about, where you just got to just keep it Reuben for a bit, yeah? How can you go, right, we got loads of players missing, so I'm going to change the system. Even that, you're like, probably isn't the best time to make this drastic a change. Probably should have done this when everyone was here. But all right, cool. You play well with it against Villa, but you lose. But we all say, you know what? You played well. You played well with it for the first half against Newcastle United. And then you got to fight, suffer, and do what you need to do to get through. But Aiden Heavens played well. You know, Dorgu's played excellent. You know, who else played well? Even Ugarte was just, you know, not too bad. Got a bit of protection in there. You know, Cunha was, you know, doing well. Okay, Mason Mount didn't play, etc., etc. You get a good result against, compared to Wolves, a good team. And then you play Wolves. You know they're going to have five at the back. You know they're going to be stubborn. You know you're going to have more of the ball and more decisions to make on the ball. And you know our players are, you know, still in a moment where they're not consistent. And you bring the most amount of inconsistency you can bring to that lineup. And the feeling from the off, you just change the feeling. You change it. Why do you do that? And then you proceed to in-game. You got the chance to fix this. You got a chance to, not by there's loads of options on the bench. I get it. But within the shape of the players of what you've got, you can go, fucking hell, I've got this wrong. Let me flip back to the back four. Remember, because we're so fluid, because we're so dynamic, and we can change so easily, why didn't you do that? And then you proceed to take off Joshua Zirkzee, who, don't get me wrong, nobody played well in the first half, really, because it all wasn't right. It didn't feel right. But the guy who actually scored, you take him off for a young kid who hasn't played at this level yet. And then Wolves have more control and basically should have scored.
It's like you said, I don't think it's because obviously the pushback will be, you know, the pushback will be, won't it? Like, well, so you're saying Zirkzee was playing really well. It's not even that, is it? It's just saying, a bit like the setup in general, it was overthought. Why are you overly complicating? Why are you know, I know I get paying respect to your opposition, but when you're playing bottom of the league, don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. And it almost sums Reuben Amorim's tenure up at Man United, isn't it? Of being so steadfast and rigid, of not adapting, not moving to something else, not pivoting to something else at a time which he needs to do at least. He changes the most, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And when it comes to the academy players, like, you know, putting Fletcher on or what have you, this is why I'm always, I always get accused of being negative when it comes to this, but last night is the exact reason why you have to be so careful with putting those youngsters in. How often do we hear that? How often do we just play the kids, just play the kids? And I always say, we say just play the kids until we play the kids, and then we slam the kids for not being good enough. And that's the same with Jack Fletcher now last night. I took one look on social media this morning. Jack Fletcher, he's the Paddy McNair of Tyler Blackett's, or he shouldn't even be playing in League One, let alone coming on for Manchester United. And you go, well, that's why you need to be careful about putting them in that kind of environment, in that kind of scenario, in that kind of team, and in that kind of tactical setup. Because it's not getting off on the right foot, isn't it? And now already they've been painted with the brush of they're terrible, they're rubbish, get rid of them. And it's like, well, and again, that's on the coach of why are you putting them into that environment? Why are you putting them into that team? You've been bigging them up in the press that they're ready to take the step up, when they're ready to go right now. Well, obviously they're not ready to go right now. That's what it is. And look, I see it in the chat. I see it in the chat this morning. Look, Jack Fletcher, he's kind of whack, blah, blah, blah. It's nepotism. Fletcher isn't good enough, Owen. How do we even know that? How do we even know that at this point? Yeah? How do we even know that? Because in a game where everyone played badly against Wolves, we throw a kid in, and then suddenly, he's not good. He's only there because of Darren Fletcher. We do it all the time. With academy players, come in, throw in. What have you done for us in 45 minutes? Nah, you're shit. Go. Get rid of him. Terrible. Just because your dad's, you know what I mean? So that's why when it is like this, JJ Gabriel, that's why, put him in. Or last season we did it with Cheeto Obi. Cheeto Obi, put him in when they're not ready. And then we'll turn on them. You're rubbish. Terrible. Get rid of them. Awful. They're clearly not ready. Clearly. And again, that's bad management. That's bad management of the situation. But this is, this is what we do to academy players, and there'll be like justification of it. No, actually, no, he's not good. He's rubbish. How old's Jack Fletcher? Actually, just to double check. Someone let me know in the chat. He's 18. That was his like second appearance from Man United or whatever. Already, bang. Right on him. Not good enough. And that goes back to management, play the kids until we play the kids, and then we don't like the kids anymore.
Yeah, that's crazy with the Fletcher thing. It just shows you in it, like, listen, it's great for young Montato, 17 years of age, getting his debut. Listen, it's great, absolutely great for them and their families. And, you shouldn't forget it as a United fan. This is what you want, but you also want them coming into the right situation. Like you made a good point. That's just a flashpoint. I remembered when Dallas give that ball to Montato. It's a shit ball. He's got to run after it. Makes him think he has to cross it quickly. They don't even get looked after. And I'm not, me personally, as much as I want youngsters to play, I don't want token appearances being given out. Like if they're not ready. I think we have to be really careful that we're not pushing for that so much that it's like, this kid's killing it in under 21s. They've been training with the first team for ages. Just play them and this, that, and the other.
But it's
they have to be ready.
You know what it's like, Flex? Yeah. If you're gonna criticize players or people related to last night or go in on them, people like Jack Fletcher should be the furthest thing away from your criticism. Really,
yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? They should be the furthest thing away. If one of the top points that you're focusing on after that is, well, that Jack Fletcher, he's not good enough. You go, God, really? You know what I mean? Look at the senior players. Look at the coach. Look at them first, right? What again? My favorite phrase, isn't it? Talk out of both sides of our mouths. But it is so true. You know what I mean? Wow. You don't understand the principles of Manchester United. Play the kids. And then last night, it's a token gesture. He's only there because of his father. And you go, fucking ignore him, right? Leave him for one side. Leave him, Mantato, whatever. Let's not go in on them because it's ridiculous. Let's go in on the senior players. Let's go in on the coach. Let's go in on the structure, the CEO, director of football, those guys, because this is their decisions. They've been here like 2 years, right? This is an Ineos team. This is an Ineos coach.
And we're
you
not
know,
better. We're not
and
better.
we're,
See
and
what I'm
we're,
saying
and
when we say we're not
and we're,
better? We've said that and we get pushback. We're not.
And we're hoping, and really what they're in the same territory that I think the fans are now, which is get to the end of the season and let's hope we're in the European spaces, because if we're not, we're going to have to make a change, and that would be embarrassing, because they've given Reuben Amorim more time than probably he deserves. And I mentioned this before too. I guarantee you that managers like Eric Ten Hag or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Jose or Louis van Gaal probably look at Reuben Amorim and his record over the past 12 months and go, fucking, if I got afforded that luxury, I'd probably still be there right now. Yeah. A lot of managers have been let go for a lot less at Manchester United and other clubs than Reuben Amorim over the last 12 months. He is, and he's even on record saying he's very fortunate to still be in a job. He probably is still in a job just because of the fact that Ineos are trying to save a bit of face. They don't want to have to sack another manager, particularly when they recruited and headhunted him so much. But if they were being really honest in their heart of hearts, is it really working? Probably not. We're fortunate in the sense that the league is so chaotic this season. If it was a bit more stable, we'd probably be in a lot worse position, because even after last night, you draw against bottom of the league. In terms of the overall table, we're still all right, aren't we? We're still okay. It's not like we're looking at it and going, oh, we're out. We've got no chance of getting Europe now. We're mathematically out of it. No, but it is one of those ones where you look at some of these recent results and you go, we lost against a 10-man Everton for like 80 minutes. We drew against a West Ham that they're thinking about sacking Nuno because they're that shit already still. We've drawn against Wolves. We'd had that game against Bournemouth where 4-4, chaotic, should have got something out of that game. If you're dropping points like that consistently, there's only so long you can get away with it in terms of the table. Fortunately, the table hasn't really punished just yet, but it will. You know what I mean? It will eventually. And then it's going to be the case of, Ineos able to, are they going to be as ruthless as they've portrayed themselves to be? They're all about, aren't they? Oh, we're cutting this, cutting there, and players 2 years. If you're not good enough for 2 years, then you're out of there. Well, at the end of the season, Reuben Amorim would have had, 18 months? Close to 2 years, isn't it? Close to 2 years. And what did he say? 2.5 years. You'll know by the end of that if I'm the right man. I could probably tell you after about a year, Reuben. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You're not even going to get that long. And this is the thing, like, this hanging on and expecting it to turn around. And listen, you're going to be on the emotional, like, some people are anyway. You're going to go through the ups and downs of the season, and you have to take some ups and downs. But when you, like I said, you have to take a step back to really look at this thing and going, like, where are we going? Where are we going? We're not going anywhere fast. And this whole thing, like this whole idea that Reuben tries to put down, and like I say, the narratives and the words to kind of galvanize, like, it's hard because it crosses over of like, now, but you should support your manager and stuff, Stretford, let's get the banners up, let's get, sing the Reuben song and stuff like that. And it's like, because it's your job as a fan, right? Match going for, like, get behind a team. I get all of it. But when you take a step back, like just backwards away from all of that, you go, what are we getting behind? Like, it's shit. Like, this isn't going anywhere, bro. Like, it's not. And it's like, it's like we're just kidding ourselves all the time. And even though I haven't sort of regained consciousness properly since Grimsby, I've always still been, I've said my thoughts on that. I've just decided that I don't display it we just decided that it depends how you are in it as a person, as a fan, as a content creator. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. The way when you say, Owen, you just don't have it in you to go mad every single game and stuff, I hear that. My thing is that I don't really have it in me or think it's helpful to be like, after every single game that does happen, win, lose or draw, keep saying, we'll just get this effing guy out. I don't care. Like, I'll just go with it, see how we are. But my true feeling is what I said against Grimsby. This ain't it. This ain't gonna be it, and it ain't it now. Right? We'll have some ups and downs. We'll win some games. We'll lose some games. But we're not going to make enough progress, in my eyes, to convince me that this is the right way to go long term. Personally, that's my opinion. But the longer you're in this thing, it starts to hoodwink you. It starts to play with your head a little bit, and then you get sucked into like extreme pockets of positivity of like, but maybe this, and we are here, and it is this, and but this, but nothing is getting better. It's not.
I
It's
think
not.
that's, I think, and again,
Exactly.
that's
It starts to be normal.
And I think that's where, like I said, the emotional detachment comes from, because, you know, in the early days, or like 6 months in or whatever, there are, like I said, those extremes, because you go into anything wanting it to work and you're hoping it's going to work. And there's a couple of stumbles at the start, but you go, okay, that's teething issues, it will be all right. And then 6 months in, you have that big flashpoint, don't you, of like a Grimsby or the Europa League final, whatever, and it's like, this is just not, you know, this isn't going anywhere, this isn't doing anything. But the emotional attachment comes from the seeing that he's not going anywhere, nothing's really changing, and then sort of going, well, I'm gonna have to remove myself from this, aren't I? You know what I mean? Emotionally, because otherwise it's just going to take that much of a toll every single week, because nothing's going to change. You can't. I put it this way: I can't go into every game knowing, hoping to see something different from the last game, because I know there's not going to be anything different from the last game. So then it comes into a weird thing of managing your own expectations, let alone what you actually think Man United should be doing. You have to kind of try and manage reality, you know, at the same time, which is just baffling, absolutely baffling. Because how it normally should go is, you should, like a fan of a top club, should go into the game going, right, I hope we win. I expect us to win. And if we don't win or we don't do well, there's going to be some consequences to come. The consequences have gone. Consequences went a long time ago. And that's why you're right. Every game can't be like straight afterwards, this is why Reuben needs to go. Or, next game we lost. Oh, this is Reuben needs to go tonight.
It hasn't changed.
And you go, well, there's no consequence to last night. There is no consequence to us drawing in terms of like long-term Reuben's future or anything like that.
It's just getting team ready for
Ineos won't be looking at going, I'll tell you what, we need to, if the next few games, the results don't turn around, we need to call a meeting. No, they won't.
Yeah, no,
they won't.
No. And this is where actually, Owen, let's talk about them.
It's set in the diary for the end of the season.
Let's talk about them.
I mean, of like, yeah.
Let's talk about them.
And I said this about about if they do want to get Europe or what have you, you would then say show some ambition in January, right? Who you looking for? I kind of rolled my eyes, to be honest, when I saw last week the reports come out going, Man United have decided that maybe they need to move forward their midfield recruitment plans, and they've identified it as a real critical position. You're going, now you've identified that I might need to bring this a little bit forward, or maybe I need to do some work on that now. Like, it's a big revelation. Everyone's been saying about getting a midfielder for the last 18 months. And now you've decided, actually, we can't make it to the summer if we're going to get those. We might have to do that in January. You go, well, again, that's on you. That's bad planning. Oh, we've got enough. Everyone could have told you in the summer that you look at that midfield, we don't have enough. We don't have enough. And you put yourself in a corner now, because those big names that you want, Elliot Anderson, Adam Ward, you can't get them at the moment. No. And actually, the way things are going,
when in Europe.
Exactly. When it comes to the summer, are they even going to be interested? We just lost out to Antoine Semenyo because he's gone to a better team. And that's going to happen to us. The longer we stay out of Europe and the longer we flounder, which is what we've been doing. And this is why last season, it's a good thing we're not in Europe. No, it's not, because we'll start missing out. And it's like the Arsenal thing, isn't it? Of when they were out of Europe for a couple of seasons. 1 turns to 2, 2 turns to 3, and then 3 becomes the normal. You know, well, actually, like you said, we then kind of fool ourselves. We fool ourselves that like, we beat this team and now we're 9th. And you go, well, it's not too bad because we were 15th last season. And you sort of do go, well, if I said that to a Man United fan 5 years ago, you know, or not even that, like 3 or 4 years ago, like you kind of would be content with 10th. They'd be like, what happened? Like, what happened? You know, you get Louis van Gaal getting sacked for finishing for a 5th and winning an FA Cup. You know, it's insanity. David Moyes gets sacked for finishing like, what was it? Where did we finish in the end? 8th that season out of Europe. As of this current metric, that's good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're accepting it. All Elite says, is it time to have a real chat about Cunha now? Well, do you remember a few weeks back? I can't remember what video it was. Was it a video I done by myself, or was it I brought it to the table? I remember bringing this to the table going, listen, I like Cunha a lot, okay? But we have to be careful that we're not doing too much. I said it. I said the Maverick thing, the Cantona thing. If he buys into it too much, needing to do everything, we have to have a chat. And it was no. People were joking in the chat. I think when I was saying Flex has got a Cunha agenda. It's not an agenda. It's not an agenda. It's an observation. I've seen this. I've been seeing this. Again, even at me saying this now, doesn't mean it's a write-off, doesn't mean it's a dud, doesn't mean it's a waste of money. But it's an observation that he needs to step up. We can't buy players, and this is talking out of both sides of our mouths. You can't buy players from the Premier League and rave about how good of a astute piece of business that is, buying from the league with the type of pressure that comes with it, being able to handle it, slapping the 11 on his back, or the 10, what the number is he? 10, sorry. He can handle the weight of expectation. He's a maverick. He's like Cantona, this, that, and the other, right? And then when he's not performing well and you're looking at it going, this has happened quite a bit now, you don't want to talk about it honestly. And I think this is what we do. We didn't sign Cunha for those big nights under the lights against Wolves at home. Like, don't get me wrong. But in the context of where the team is now, this is why we signed him. I.e., mate, there's a bag of injuries. All the creation's gone. You, by name and probably ability, are the best attacker on the field. Both teams. I need you to take the game by the scruff of the neck. Like you were doing it in the first half against, Newcastle. He has shown it in flashes. But it can't always be that type of performance from him where it's, I'm going to win the foul. I just want to be fouled. And, release the fucking ball. Play for the team.
You look at, two of our summer signings, attacking signings, in Cunha and Šeško both played last night. And you would think, well, with the price tag that's been spent on you, and that's 2/3 of a new attack.
100%.
Granted, I know people are missing, but you wouldn't have known that watching the game. You wouldn't have gone, well, United, they've got 2/3 of a brand new attack there. Wasn't good enough. And this, you want to talk about agendas. This is when it does get funny, isn't it? Because when we played Villa and we lost, and even like in the first 5-10 minutes in that game last night against Wolves, where we were like, okay, the agendas come out. See, I told you we actually play better without Bruno. We don't miss him at all. We don't miss him at all. And suddenly those people are now very quiet. And it's not to say that, oh, we drew last night because we didn't have Bruno Fernandes. But as we've said many a time, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. Because you just might get it. We'll be better without Bruno. We don't need. It's just numbers on the board. Numbers on the board. Goes out the team, and it's like, well, we're not really creating all that much, are we? Just play the kids. Actually, kids, maybe they're not that good enough, And that's when it goes back to, what do you actually want? What do you actually want? Because so often we're looking for like small solutions. Actually, what will fix Man United is if you take Bruno, we're just one player away. If we take Bruno out, we'll be good. Or if we just put a couple of the kids in, we'll be good. And you go, well, no, it's not. It's way bigger than that. Way, way, way bigger than that. You've got a coach who, frankly, a lot of the time, I think just looks out of his depth. You forget with Reuben, how old is he? Is he 40 now? Was he late 30s still? He's 40 years old, right? Turns 41 in January. He's a young guy who just looks out of his depth in terms of the job that is required at Manchester United in general, but let alone at a time in which we're really, really bad. And now he's tried to be so steadfast for so long. Now he's overthinking things. Now he's overly tweaking and changing and adapting things. And, and maybe he is trying to, cave into pressure from people in the media of like, okay, I will play maybe a youngster here, and I will do this and I will do that. And you get the impression that, again, 18 months, a year, into his tenure, over a year into his tenure, he still doesn't really get it. And even he's in interviews going, I would have done things 75% differently, and I've learned a lot. And actually, I wouldn't have done this, and I wouldn't have done that. And that's when you go back to like the Man United fans, right? We're not coaches, yeah. We might not know the tactics, whatever. But one thing we do know, we know Man United. We know Man United. We know the fan base. We know the players. And we know when it's working and when it's not working. And we know, like, if it's not working, maybe you need to try other things and do other things. And, from day dot, you do kind of look at Reuben and go, all right, talk's a good game. Cool. And, he's on the touchline and he's doing, he makes a lot of movement, and, he's a young guy, modern coach. But actually, when you see it in the matches, you just go, it's not working. And I'm not saying, you need to get someone in that's like 70 years old because that's how to manage Man United, but it looks too much for him. And he's overly complicating things that don't need to be overly complicated. And it just seems too much. It seems too much. And then, like you said, now he's into that phase now, like a lot of the other managers was, like Ten Hag was towards the end, where, in the media now, when he says stuff, people are like kind of like rolling their eyes of just this.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's into that territory.
And because it's not backing up on a pitch. And the irony of like changing away from your system, regardless of, the exact results, there were signs of promise within it with players missing. Then you go back to what you really want to play and you stink it out against the worst ever team there's been in the league. You're just making a rod for your own back. Terence says, Lamans was my man of the match. Got his money's worth, plus interest. Leeds smell blood, and they know we're vulnerable. So much wasted chances to climb the table. Yeah, Leeds I will get into that. All Elite says we also need to have a chat about these subs. Inept. Yeah, I mean, we didn't have a lot of options, but taking off Aiden Hep, like it's the same thing. Again, we shouldn't be shocked. We're just taking off centre back to keep on 3 centre backs at home to fucking Wolves, bro. Like that alone, at the time, didn't I? That alone, like, yeah, because he's going to bring on a defender.
It was like in the first half. What will happen is it'll be like 1-1. He'll bring on the centre backs, whatever, and then the thing will be, why is he bringing on the centre backs? He does it every game.
But away from like, obviously, he just does it every game. Let's just focus on Reuben, you idiot. Like, why are you doing that, bro? That's another example of like you're not cut out. We don't do that here. Sometimes, like Sir Alex would never have and all of that. I try to stay away from it to a certain extent, right? Because we have to create a new Man United. We can't just keep going, oh, well, Pallister and Bruce wouldn't, oh, yeah, Schmeichel and Irwin and, in my day. I get it. But that there does need to be a certain element that we always do keep of that before we completely lose ourselves. Because this is what I'm talking about it's becoming norm. We are not becoming okay with it, but we are starting to basically accept that the fact that, well, he just does that. You should get out for that. You are drawing a game at home to the worst team ever in the league. You shouldn't even have this much defenders on the pitch. This is not our DNA. This is not what we stand for. But we'll allow it because you should be winning with it. You proceed for the game to play out as it does, and you double down and start taking off a defender who's actually playing all right. Aiden Heaven's in a good moment for a defender who's not playing all right, and stick him on. Why?
I think.
What do you think that's going to do?
This is why I push back on the Rob Dawson thing of like last night of, well, what subs do you expect him to make? He had no options. But the problem is even when he does have options, he'll make the same sub. That's the problem, isn't it? Is that okay? Like you're like last night, he doesn't have many people to bring on. But when he does have Maguire on the bench, or when he does have whoever on the bench, he'll make the same sub. It's just literally it's just changed the name. It makes the same serve every single week. So it's not even necessarily about who he did or didn't have available, because he would do the same thing. He always does the same thing. And like you said, that then we're into this weird phase where we just kind of, when we play other teams and like the ops fans go, why does he do that? It's like, when you bring your mate round your house and you've got like one of that sort of weird parent that does quirky stuff, and they go, why did he do that? And you go, that's just what they do. And you go, all right. That's weird. Yeah. Do they ever think of not doing it? They think of not doing that
and learning from it. It's just absolutely pathetic. Like the subs, and that's what really, really winds me up. Like stuff like that, where it's so anti-Man United. It's such an abomination to what we are. And when people get mad at Scholes saying he never got nothing positive to say, why can't the legends just protect us? Fuck that. To a certain extent, just say it as it is. If you care about this club like they do, and they've been through it and know what it is, don't get me wrong. I get it when we buy a player and you're already cussing them out after 3 games. I get it. Let it play out. That's different. But when people like Paul Scholes, who are the most qualified to look at the consistent setup of a team in the image of its manager and cuss it out, and we're like, oh, Paul, no, don't be this. No, that's us dropping our standards.
It's because the problem is with those guys is it's because they do muddy the water with bad takes, isn't it? That's the problem.
Exactly.
Like I said, when they do like the Delict, he hasn't even signed for us yet, and it's like, oh, he's rubbish.
Exactly. Well, we're not going to win a title with him.
It muddies the water, doesn't it? When they do say stuff that's true. Like last night, Gary Neville, like 10 minutes into the game, was like, "This setup is all wrong. It's all wrong. But because Gary Neville has been whinging a lot on commentary recently, you tune it out, don't you? And you go, well, I'm not going to listen to you, Gary.
Oh, don't be negative, Gary. Oh, don't be. The man's saying what is there. He's saying what is there, bro.
And that's the problem. And when it goes back to the subs as well, it was in the Newcastle game. I kind of came to a bit of a revelation that you can make the wrong sub but still win the game. So for instance, against Newcastle, those subs, i.e., when he took Casemiro off and Casemiro's going, me, I'm going off. I'm not sure about that. That was a wrong sub, but Reuben got away with it that day because we ended up winning the game and it was fine. But again, there's the conversation about his substitutions has been there for a while. And I do think sometimes he has made the right subs. And I go, well, what else would you expect him to do? But particularly recently, the last 4 or 5 games, some of the subs have just been straight up baffling. Even the players look at it, don't they? Like again, Casemiro's going, "What am I? I'm coming off. Why? I'm not really okay." Last night you're going, there must be something wrong with Zirkzee if he's being brought off.
It must be.
No,
to put Jack Fletcher on for him and keep the same system. Do you know what I mean? What how do you think that's going to change anything? Let me get these super chats out actually. Max says, what pisses me off the most is the fact that almost at every turn, when we have the chance to climb up the table, we always fumble it and badly. Absolutely. Always do.
Yeah.
Dennis says, Grimsby, Spurs, Wolves. There is the evidence. Please, please see arrest this Amorim guy for crimes against Manchester United. We need him gone. Show says, Amorim either doesn't play youth or throws them under the bus, puts Fletcher right wing when Lacey is an actual right winger. Walking contradiction at this point. WJ Barrett, big up to you, bro, says, what are we really thinking? This league is mad. We are still on the same points as Chelsea. What do we do? It's bad, but not that bad, if that makes sense.
And that's the weird thing.
That's why we just got to focus on ourselves, because you can't compare yourself to Chelsea. When you look at them, they're going mad. They're saying we're shit. They're saying, what is this team? Matisse is doing videos saying they need to be sacked. Get the decision makers out. That's not the stick.
And this is, but again, and this is also why, and I actually do, I think it is a really good point what WJ Barrett is making there. That this is why I'm sure today, if you talk to people within Manchester United or within Ineos, they'll still be like, no, we're calm, because WJ Barrett's right. They'll look at the table and they'll go, yeah, still in a decent position, still not.
WJ Barrett also says it here. He goes, guys, chat before you lose it. I mean, in footballing terms, I hate this, but what I'm saying is the chop won't happen with this league position. And that's what we've been saying the whole show. Yeah. That's what you've been saying. Like, Ineos aren't going to wake up after losing against Leeds potentially or drawing against Leeds with more stagnation and go, well, we're still 6, 4 points off of 5th. Like, it's like you said. And that's where you look at them and go, well, you're happy with this to happen. Kristen says, I'm mostly checked out now. Yesterday, I attended my first baby scan. And I can't wait to enter fatherhood. 9th of July is the due date. Big congratulations to you.
Congratulations, yeah.
Yeah, focus on that, bro. Focus on that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and again, I agree with WJ Barrett there, because I do think that's what they'll be looking at. And, from a fan's perspective, we'll be looking at it going, yeah, but you've got to get there. You've actually got to qualify. You've actually got to, get those points required. Some of the games we mentioned recently, the West Ham one, the Everton one, the Bournemouth one, I think as well. The majority, if not all of them, were all on Monday night. We knew what we had to do in those games. Or we've been playing last in the match week for the last however many games. So we knew that, okay, this is what we have to do and this is where we'll be. And every single time we fumbled the ball. Every single time. Every single time. And that's when you go, well, eventually, the league's crazy and people are dropping points, but it's got to catch up to you, and it will. Like it will eventually catch up. You can't keep dropping points to the teams that we're dropping points to. It's just it's not good enough. But WJ Barrett there is right, and this is why I'm into the self-preservation, like of my own sanity. That of like, well, then I just got to check out. Then I've got to emotionally check out, because I know we're going to play on the weekend against Leeds, and it will be exactly the same. The game after that, who have we got after Leeds? Burnley away. Another one where you go, it'll be exactly the same. Could be embarrassing, could be straightforward, could be a draw. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just, I don't know. And then with, the comparison to last year, it'll be, yeah, but look where we were this time last year. It is better. And you go, I don't even know if anything should be compared to last year, because that shouldn't even be like a barometer to compare anything to. You know what I mean? Last year should almost never be brought up, you know, because like this time last year, we were like 14th. If you compare anything to 14th, it looks like a good season. Forget last year. Let's not talk about last year. Let's talk as if this is a normal season for Manchester United. Because even if you were comparing it to the season that Erik ten Hag finished 8th, you know, and he was on the chopping block, you would still be like, well, it's not that much better, is it? It's still kind of the same.
Back to that.
It's still kind of the same. You know what I mean? So
but
it's
people,
kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if you can compare.
It's hard to compare anything.
Season.
No, you can't. Listen,
anything's better than last season.
In isolation, yeah, you go. It is, because obviously you're not losing every single game like you was, and you're not 13th, 14th. So,
but that's not. That shouldn't be the normal. That's not anything to compare to.
But then people who argue on the other side, devil's advocate, they would argue that to get better, you don't go from 15th to 1st and stuff. There's going to be an in-between period where you go 6th. Like you can still finish 6th, 5th. You know, you take that, then you look to get 2nd, 3rd, and then you push forward, and then you know, so on and so forth. But it's the manner of what we're doing. We're still seeing exactly the same stuff, exactly the same type of decisions, exactly the same type of football. That's the problem for me, more than like the league position. Because if you just look at the league position, and I said I'm not going to show you one game, I'm going to turn off the cameras and your social media and your phone from the night we lost in Bilbao, and I'm going to just show you. I'm going to tell you our league position now and where we are from top 4. You don't know any games. You haven't seen any performances. You just know that the last time you turned on your phone, we were 15th and lost to Spurs. And now you've turned it on and we're joint 5th. You'd go, well, I'll tell you what, good. Well, I haven't seen anything, but that's got to be good, isn't it? That's something. That's something from last year. That's before in the summer. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted in the summer. But then when you see how this has played out, which is obviously the biggest context of all, you go, no, I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure about this. This is not
I'm with you there with this. Like, obviously, factually, we have improved, yes, compared to last season. But if the baseline is last season, that's a really flawed baseline, because that cannot be, you know, that cannot be like, oh, anything above basically 15th, that's improvement, so we can't complain about that. I know that the whole this is Man United we're talking about, but it is true. Like, this is Man United we're talking about.
Yeah, you can't.
I don't think it can be that broad where it's just like, well, anything above 15th is better than last season, so we can't complain. That's why it's a bit like.
That's when we're getting accepting the norm. That's when it's becoming normal. We're just trying to accept it.
A bit like. But it is still one of those ones where, you know, we beat Leeds at the weekend. I know you said earlier on we won't. It's entirely possible we won't, but it's entirely possible that we win. And then you never know. Then we are once again going, well, you know, we're still close in on those points. That's going to be the cycle for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It is.
You know,
Dennis says, why switch Dorgu from the right wing? Please explain. We can't explain it. We were just cussing it out for the whole show before you just got there, Dennis. Just stupidity, just dumb decisions. On that Leeds game, I'm sorry if you call it pessimistic, and you can even do, not you, Owen, but just whoever wants to do it. You can even do that I told you so as if the result does go away. I cannot see how we beat Leeds at home away. I cannot see it. I can't see it. And Reuben, no, Owen, I can't see it. And I'll tell you the reason why I can't see it. And I know your thing is going to be, well, it's within what we do this season. We go up, we go down. It's perfectly within the realms of possibility with what the team's shown us. I said it last night, right? Even before the game, with this amount of players missing, okay, the lack of X factor and creation isn't there. And I was like, although we did well against Newcastle, I literally said it before kickoff. It was the last thing I said before we kicked off. I was like, we shouldn't get too comfortable with kind of half playing all right with this team, because it can run out very quickly, because we are trying to get the extreme blood out the stone with this team. The reason why I can't see us doing well against Leeds and beating them is, one, the form that they're in, especially at Ellen Road as well, and just recently, they will get after us, right? Two, I think if Mason, like, you better pray Mason Mount's fit, Reuben. We are, but you better, because if you're going to ask Zirkzee to run for a brick wall for you after what you just did, that ain't going to work. This is the players missing. I don't think we've got that in us. Unless maybe Mason Mount's back, but I don't think we've got that in us to go and beat them in this mold. Personally, the reason I push back on that and you say I can't see us winning it is because there have been games this season that I didn't see us
winning and we won, i.e. Liverpool, Palace, those games go, fucking hell, I don't know where that, even going into that Newcastle game at home, I was like, I don't know about that. And we ended up winning it. I've also seen us lose games that I didn't see us losing this season, i.e. Grimsby, i.e. Everton, when we go down to 10 minutes. I've seen us draw games that I didn't see us drawing in Wolves and West Ham. So even though we're shit, even though I totally get, particularly after last night, you'd be like, if you play like that, no chance to beat Leeds. But I really do mean it. I am not shocked by anything that Man United do this season, good or bad. I like the pleasant surprises. I like when we go to Anfield or Crystal Palace and we go, oh, I didn't think we were going to win that. We haven't won there in a decade. We haven't won there in 5 years. And you go, oh, wow, that's surprising, isn't it? But at the same time, if we went to Ellen Road and, like you said, the atmosphere's up and you've got players missing and he tries to tweak it again, I'm not going to be shocked by that. I'm not shocked by anything. Even if in that Leeds game we're 3-0 up, I would still go, we need a fourth. Need a fourth because I can't trust this team. So I don't know if I'm in the position to be like, I just can't see that happening, because I think everything's on the table with United. And the problem is, if that is where we're genuinely at, which I think it is, where everything's on the table, you can't really build anything off that because it's not consistent, is it? It's just completely inconsistent. They could do anything. They could win, they could lose, they could draw, they could be 2-0 up, they could blow it. They could be 1-0 down, score 2 in the last minute. We've scored late equalizers. We've scored late winners. We've conceded late goals this season, like we did against West Ham.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible. And I think the problem is when I say that, I think that is almost interpreted as that's almost a bit of a positive. I'm being toxically positive. And actually, when I say anything's possible, I kind of mean it as quite a neutral.
Yeah, we can lose. I agree with you. We can draw.
It's not like toxically positive. Anything's possible. We can go there. We'll win 5-0. I mean it more like anything's possible in the sense that we could lose 3-0, but we could also win 2-1.
But what I'm saying now is the most probable one for me is a loss in this game or a draw. Listen, there are things, once you calm down, there are things that will help you in football terms. That Leeds will come onto us. That they won't sit back. They won't just be in a back five, rigid. Hopefully, Reuben learns his lesson and doesn't play the back five against them. You'll get chances, etc. But that atmosphere, I know it's a 12:30 kickoff, so it's not quite under the lights, but that atmosphere, what that comes with, you have to be ready to go to war with Leeds. That's the difference. That's why I'm saying I don't think we get out of this. This isn't just you hang on in there, you do all right. They'll probably sit off you a little bit. You have to be ready to fucking go to war. This is Leeds United. You come out there with war wounds, bro. That's what it is. The story of the White Roses, etc. This encompasses what playing for Man United is all about. Forget that Leeds are usually in League One and Championship. When you play them, though, it's war. Yeah. It's on levels with Liverpool, especially in their backyard. So you're asking them to be mentally ready for the intensity of what that is, especially with the players that are missing, especially with the stupid-ass manager who's probably going to try and pull some other funny shit. Do you know what I mean? And I just think it's a big ask. I'm just being realistic, actually.
Now, after the last touch, this will be the one where he sticks everything the same team, same lineup, same formation, and you'll be like, "What?"
Exactly. And no, I don't. This is what I'm saying. And Fletch, you reckon those players are ready to go to war for our badge? No,
of course not.
That's what I'm saying. This is why I'm bringing it up. I think it's going to be awful. I might be at the game as well. And
but also when have they ever been? Of course, they're not going to be ready to go to war for the badge. They haven't done that for years.
Recently against Leeds, we have. That's one thing we have done.
They talk, but I mean, this group of players and this coach, like Reuben, he talks a good game.
Well,
he's called
went to war against Liverpool,
But
that's just, again, with players, not really.
But
his players back though. Like having that is one thing, and say obviously we're already shit, with the good players, So you take all of them out, and then you're trying to get the blood out of stone to go places that are like cauldrons, and that is when you have to take a step back and do the Owen thing of like, I mean, come on, did you really? You got 8 missing, but then we expected that against Villa, and they played all right. This is what you're saying.
I'm just kind of like, what is, it's a weird one because It's a weird one, isn't it? Because obviously you still want Man United to do well. And I never want to be in the position where I'm like, oh, I hope Man United don't win, or I hope Man United don't get Champions League football, blah, blah, blah. I just hope at the end of the season, either we do get Champions League football and something's gone right. Reuben's managed to get something right. And you go, well, okay, look, that is something. And you can build on that, hopefully. Or if it doesn't work out and we don't get Champions League football, then I hope Ineos just go, right, enough of this. And spare me, I don't have the stomach for a rebuild or whatever. Tell you what I don't have the stomach for is another season of this. We did it last season. This season, results been a bit better, but let's be honest, it's still absolute dross to watch, isn't it? Even on our best 100%. Day, it's still not great. It's 20 minutes of good football at that. And and as far as the next reaction, which will be there, well, then who would you get? Well, that's not for me to figure out, is it? If I was in charge, I would do what most people hopefully would be doing at the club, which is give me a list of people, give me some stats, who's going to work out. And also,
do you want to start, Owen?
Go on.
4 of Wolves' last 10 points in the Premier League have been won at Old Trafford. It's so mad, isn't it? It's so mad.
And again, look at the teams recently. We have dropped points to, like Wolves, they're
shocking.
Going down. West Ham, they're going down. Everton, 10 men. They're literally fighting each other. And
Bournemouth haven't won Bournemouth, in. I know they went
ages.
But they haven't won in ages. They're not good right now. They've been terrible.
No, since like October.
4-4. All action. All the neutrals going, wow, thanks for giving us that enjoyment. What a game.
Yeah. And then I know
Chelsea. No, they didn't, but they did last year. That's where the 4 points have come from. Got 3 last year and a point there. 4 of their last, because they ain't won no game since then.
Because they're not good.
Oh my god!
And to be honest, this is how mad the league is, isn't it? Is that usually if you drop points, how we have recently to West Ham, Bournemouth, Everton, Wolves, you would be out of it. You'd be out of it, wouldn't you? You'd be like, "You're no chance of getting back into European contention." But the fact that we're still there and thereabouts just shows up how, the league being so erratic is doing us a favor, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, 100%, exactly. Amranor says we need to back Amram until the end of the season. Nobody's talking about how bad Dallo is, says Dennis. And Doug says, piss take, what he done with Zirkzee. Absolutely. If I was Zirkzee, I know it hasn't gone well, and I said the manager don't rate him anyway, but that is a piss take. You talk about him getting taken off last year and booed and stuff like that. The guy in a shit game where nobody's doing well, where Cunha's not doing nothing, he scored. Yeah, it was lucky or whatever, but he shifted his feet, got a shooting opportunity. He scored a goal, and you take him off for Jack Fletcher, bro. Fletcher.
It's one of those ones as well where, so how can you now block a move to Roma? It's a bit like the Cobby situation where in the summer I want to go out on loan. We need you to get minutes, and you get to January, you go, I basically had no minutes, so
and you got a chance to play through bottom of the league with 2 points, and I'm the only goal scorer, by the way. I'm the only one in the team right now who scored a goal.
Even that, like let's not act like the goal was a screamer or anything like that. It was a massive deflection. It's just like
and he set up their goal. We fucking headed it to the back post.
Do you know what's mad?
He actually got an assist for them, but still,
with even all that Zirkzee thing, is that it's kind of irrelevant that he wasn't that good and he's not great anyway. You know what I mean? It's more the principle. It's more the principle of taking.
Exactly.
It's more taking off a senior player. It's not actually related to if he's good or if he's playing well, because he wasn't.
It's the piss take of it, and the fact that, and also you did the disrespectful thing. It didn't work.
Yeah,
and you went on to say in your thing afterwards, he's gone. Basically midfield, we were suffering a little bit because too many strikers. Sometimes you can have more control with less strikers against the bottom team. So I brought on Jack. We had more control. No, we didn't. That's not an accurate breakdown of what happened. We saw with our eyes. We did not have more control in that second half. Yeah, because we might have had the ball a little bit more. Because again, that's by design. That's not control. Wolves had the better chances at times. Senny Lummans a double save. Like we nearly lost this game.
You've got Rob Edwards, who it's clear to see is not a Premier League manager, doing a bit of a number on Reuben Amram.
Talking about, we spoke about it at half time to play on the crowd. They won't like it. Fucking Wolves.
Yeah. Well, you saw it. You know what's the worst? One of the worst points of that game last night was genuinely when it was like the last kick of the game and they had a corner and those Wolves fans were literally getting up and going, "We might actually get some points. We might actually get some points." Do you know how mad that you're going like they're salivating because they're thinking we might actually not lose this week because they're just so used to losing. And even them, they're looking at Man United at Old Trafford, go, we can get something out of this game. That's oh my God, that shows you how bad. Oh,
shocking. Max says, last one of the day says, don't get me wrong, last night was a Reuben stinker of note, but these players don't care enough, nonchalantly jogging on the pitch. Maybe Bruno was right. Well, I'm saying, I don't know. Exactly. Maybe he was
for
right,
someone to come in and make them care. You know what I mean? All right, if they don't care, then move them on. But also, we've seen waves of players come in and come out, and that thread line of not caring still manages to permeate through all of them. So clearly there's something bigger at play here. Coach can't get it out of them, and the players don't want to run. It's not a very good combination, is it?
Here we go, guys. Here we go again. Lead up to Leeds. I'm sorry to be negative in the lead up to this, but you know what version you're going to get of me in the next few days. That's just how I am.
Happy New Year and all that, though. You know.
Happy New Year. Yes. Oh yeah. Christmas Eve. It's New Year's Eve. Yeah. Happy New Year. Yeah. Happy New Year. Hopefully 2026 is a lot better for us because I don't even want to do the Mick McCarthy thing where it can't get worse than this. But
it can.
It can.
Do I have that on my soundboard? Mick McCarthy.
Yeah, you used to. You did.
No, I didn't have that. I haven't put it on.
I thought you did. Okay.
No.
All right, guys. We are out of here. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are gone. Take care. Peace.